Hello and welcome to VuTalk, the podcast brought to you by VuWall. I'm your host, Michelle Dawn Mooney. Today we have an exciting episode focused on the upcoming GSX 2024 event. Joining me is Ray Lacey, Regional Sales Manager at VuWall. We will be discussing the latest trends in the security and control room market, how VuWall is gearing up for GSX 2024, and what exciting announcements and demonstrations attendees can look forward to. Ray will also share insights on how VuWall addresses the unique cybersecurity concerns of the security industry and the importance of collaboration and integration in control room setups. So stay tuned for an insightful discussion. And I am pleased to bring on, as I said, today's guest, Ray Lacey, who is Regional Sales Manager for VuWall. Ray, thank you for being here today.
Hey, Michelle, thanks for having me.
Good to have you with us. And before we do kind of get into the excitement of GSX 2024, can I ask you to give us a brief bio if you can?
Yeah, sure. So I've been doing Pro AV for about the last 8 years. Before that, I did a lot of work in data centers, both on the facilities and IT side, but mostly focused in the network space. So I've been working in this industry a long time.
Really excited to have you here and a lot of excitement with GSX 2024. So here's where we're going to start because there are things that are ever changing, especially when it comes to the technology world. So what trends are you seeing in the security market right now? As the year has progressed, have these trends matched up with your expectations of what you expected to see?
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest things we've seen is traditionally it was really larger spaces that were concerned with network security, overall security, building these big operation centers. And we're seeing a lot of smaller municipalities, smaller organizations start to build different types of control rooms as well. So each one of those have their own security concerns. Each one of those has their own unique requirements. And we really try to make it where we can be scalable to either work in the small space or the large space. And really what they share is a desire to see all of this information in one place. But obviously, the more you try to put that into a central location, the more risk you are at having an event where somebody can break into and access way more data than usual because you've consolidated it in one place. So what we really see is people want all that data together, but they need it to be secure and they need to be accessible from wherever they need access while still preventing things like intrusion, cyber attacks, things like that.
Yeah. GSX 2024 is a significant event for the security industry. How is VuWall gearing up for this event, and what exciting technology can attendees expect to see at the event?
Yeah, so the big thing we've been trying to do is honestly reach out to our end users, reach out to our partners, reach out to even integrators we don't work with today, both on the Pro AV and security side, to find out where we should be spending our time. We think we know what's best as far as moving forward in a roadmap and a timeline. But the best thing we can do is collaborate with everybody else that's out there and find out what are their needs. What would they like to see VuWall do next? So we're trying to have a lot of those conversations ahead of the show so that we can have a more impactful time at the show. And we're really looking forward to showing Pat KVM. We showed it a little bit in the past, but we definitely have some advancements there. In addition to that, we have a brand new control view panel that is way more secure. And our new TRX versions have not just security updates, but also some cool new features that we'll be able to show at GSX.
Collaboration and integration are really crucial in control room setups. How does VuWall approach these aspects, and how will that be showcased at GSX 2024?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, we know we're never the whole solution. Nobody has a VuWall control room. There's no such thing. We are a piece of the pie, so we have to collaborate. So with that in mind, we're vendor agnostic with nearly everything we do. We try to collaborate and partner. We have some great plugins already, such as our Genetech plugin that lets us pull in their cameras and launch our software from within their interface. It's important to know that GSX specifically, we're presenting at the InfraGard booth. And InfraGard is a FBI led organization that really is just interested in both the private and public sector, providing both security, physical and cyber for critical U.S. infrastructure. Again, whether that's going to be private or public sector, the whole point is that they need all of that to be hardened. It needs to be secured. And to do that, you have to have a collaborative effort. So we'll actually be there with a few different companies. And specifically, one of the partners in the booth is Advancis, who is actually going to be showcasing their VuWall plugin. So not only are we trying to constantly, evolve and develop and work with other companies, we do have other companies that are actively working to engage with us.
There are a lot of shows out there. So I want to ask you this. How does the security market at GSX differ from the audiences typically found at the larger AV shows like ISE and Infocom? And then how does the audience and maybe your conversations differ at these shows?
Yeah, so we definitely find at the big pro AV type shows that we have a lot of conversations with other vendors, with other integrators, with the consulting and design firms. But it's really only the larger end users that you usually see at those shows. Kind of conversely with GSX, we have a lot of end user conversations. A lot of customers come to the show. They're very savvy about what they do, but what they do is primarily focused in the security space. So where they can really use some assistance and some heavy lifting from us is the pro AV side of things. How do we get those signals? How do we get those sources to the destinations where they need it and keep it secure? So one of the biggest differences we see is just that shift from more conversations with partners to conversations with potential end user customers. But more than that, those conversations tend to be very specific. The conversations we have at like an Infocom or an ISE tend to be, hey, I have such and such project coming up. It'd be great if y'all could show us how you would approach it. At GSX is usually more, I have this space with these requirements and this problem that nobody solved for me. How can you help? So it's definitely different types of interactions with the people that walk up to your booth.
Yeah. On a personal note, what would you say you are most excited about for GSX 2024?
At the end of the day, I think we have honestly a really cool piece of technology that solves a problem people didn't even know they fully had. As we have more, again, just need for all of the information all at once. And a lot of that is video information as well. It's, how do we get it not just in that main control room, but also a supervisor's office, the breakout room, a backup site? COVID really changed how people approach work. And that includes not just work remote, but when we do come into a collaborative space, especially if you're in a sensitive area, you might not want to have all your eggs in one basket, just your primary control room. So I'm excited just to show people that you can have all of that content available at your primary wall while still having it at all of the distributed locations you want because it's network based.
So I know we haven't even had GSX 2024 yet, but I'm going to take you a little bit past that. What are we excited about in the big picture with VuWall? Not just GSX 2024, but past that, because technology is ever changing. And I know a lot of cool things to showcase at this
Yeah.
event, but tell me about that because you're always working on something.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, as a former technical trainer, in my past life, former sales engineer in my past life, I like fixing problems. And a lot of what we have found, again, especially at GSX, since it's so end user focused, but just overall, is we just need to educate people on what's possible nowadays. Technology changes constantly. We have to change how we integrate with our partners. We have to change how we work with our end users. But I'm excited for showing people what is possible with modern technology, and then they can decide whether or not it's going to help them fix their problem. But it's really nice to go out there and not just say, hey, we have this thing that we do, we have this product that we sell, but to go out there and say, oh, you have these specific problems, we have this great solution, and let us show it to you so that you can actually wrap your mind around everything you can do with it. Because a lot of people are kind of trapped in the perception of what they've seen in the past. That's all they know is possible. So it's very exciting to get out there in front of people and say like, hey, here's this new thing. It works. It's easy to use because we know most people don't do this every day. We're working with 911 operators. We're working with sheriff's deputies, people that have very important other jobs going on. They're not technology specialists. So we know that when we work with the people on the back end, it has to do all these robust things and features and provide this functionality. But to the person sitting down in front of it, it just needs to work and be easy. And it's exciting to get out there and actually show that to people.
How important is GSX 2024 in kind of tackling misinformation, right? Because there's so much out there, and this really gives you a chance to hit that head on.
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, the thing that some people need to have a conversation about is it is a network-based solution, and there's a lot of perception around security around that, around cybersecurity around that, around managing that. That's a whole different IT thing you have to do now. But between things like we have SOC 2 certification, showing that not just on the data side, just not just the digital side, but even the physical side, we adhere to the most stringent regulations for handling people's information. The data is encrypted. There's just a lot of different things we do to ensure that it's going to be secure from end to end.
Last question. If people are excited about this, maybe they want to go, they want to connect. What can they do? Where can they go? Where can you send them?
Yeah, please visit VuWall.com. Please reach out to any member of the team. We're excited that we're continuing to grow, working on a new office in the Atlanta area for some in-person demos here in the States. But more than that, stop by the booth, come by and see our Genetech integration, see just how seamlessly you can use things like PAT KVM so that you can operate and use your workstation right alongside all of those video wall targets, like they're all one simultaneous interface. The updates to Control View are truly important to the security market. No Wi-Fi, no Bluetooth, no internals, no camera, just making it where it is a secure panel that's completely locked down. And then, I talked about some advancements to TRX. A lot of those are on the functionality side, but we do have some exciting new features like dynamic window switching that we'll be showing and highlighting at the show.
Perfect. Ray Lacey, Regional Sales Manager for VuWall. Thank you, Ray, for being here. I'm excited for you because it's another big show ahead, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to be very excited to connect with you. So thank you for being here today and giving us your time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Michelle.
And I want to thank all of you for tuning in and listening to VuTalk, a podcast brought to you by VuWall. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast if you'd like to hear more engaging conversations like the one you heard today. I'm your host, Michelle Dawn Mooney. We hope to connect with you on another podcast soon.